Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today I'm going to be doing another Crafter's Square crochet kit doing the bunny. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in, and for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So I did have another viewer request to do the bunny for the Crafter's Square crochet kit. So let's dissect this package that we have here. So again, like in every other kit, we are going to be building this little cute bunny, and we have a bunch of stuff in this. We have the plastic needle, the yarn, the stuffing, crochet hook, plastic beads, and instruction sheet. This will be containing parts that are considered a choking hazard, so do not leave this alone and unattended with children under 3 years old. Just don't play and give it to them, to be honest, because even when you watch them, they're always putting something in their mouth or whatever. So yeah, let us take this package apart and see what we got here. Okay. So we've got the hook, we've got the yarn here, we've got the instructions, we have the stuffing, and we have the packet that comes with the little eyeballs, and this time we have some yarn to make the little nose and a needle. Okay, so I'm just going to take this needle out. We're going to show you some basic stitching that you need to know for this kit, and fortunately for all the other kits. So if you do decide to purchase any of their other animals that they have at the Dollar Tree, they start out pretty much the same in this like magic ring that you can adjust. And then also I do have on my channel the teddy bear, the puppy, the mouse, and the dinosaur. And I do have a viewer request to do the unicorn, so I'm going to be doing the unicorn after that. So let's set aside these pieces here, and I'm going to want to just look over the instructions, as you should if you get this package, so you can understand what you're going to be doing. So it's the same instructions mostly for every kit that you purchase. It has the starting instructions on how to start out this magic little circle that I'll show you how to do in a bit. And then it gives you some basic stitches to do. There's the chain stitch using this symbol here next to chain stitch. We have the single crochet stitch that has this symbol. And then on this side we have the increasing stitch with this symbol and decreasing stitch for this symbol. And then we get all the little parts that we have to build, and then how to assemble and stuff. So let's start off by teaching you guys the basic stitches that you will need to know. Okay, yeah, so let's teach you some basic stitches. We're going to do the chain stitch, and in order to do that, you guys, I want you to take your pinky and ring finger and your thumb and just hold the end down like this, and then we're going to take the middle finger and the index finger, and we're going to go like maybe an inch away and hold it like that. Then I'm going to take my crocheting needle, and then I'm going to hold it perpendicular to this piece of yarn. And this might look a little quick, so I'm going to do it very slowly. You want to just dip down up and around so that you have this little created loop like you see here. So now what we're going to want to do is we have to yarn over and pull a chain through this. So I'm going to take my fingers here in the back and I'm just going to place it against this loop here just so that it's stuck so I can let go. I have a free hand. My fingers holding that loop. I'm going to be taking this yarn here and I'm just going to be putting some yarn on my finger just so I have some slack or some yarn ready to go. Now what you're going to want to do is, I like to have the less piece of excess because I like to conserve yarn. So I would try to get this piece to be as short as possible without losing that loop. So just maneuver this yarn to where you get that little piece like you see here. And then what I'm going to do is pinch it right where it crosses so that it doesn't move. Then I'm going to take yarn and yarn over. And then I'm going to pull that through the loop. And I'm not tightening it yet. I'm still holding on to that pinch. What you want to do also, because there's opportunity to even make less excess yarn here, pinch the end like this and don't let go. Then you want to try to push that knot down towards the end of that piece there. Push it as far as you can go without losing it. Like I almost lost it. Okay, and once you get it to a point where you don't think you can push it any further down without losing it, then you take the end, that short end, and you pull it so you can pull that knot a little tighter. You don't have to go too tight, just taut, if that's a good word to use. Then I'm going to take my index and my thumb. I'm going to grip that knot, and you want to slide it up towards the hook, but not enough to where it's too tight, just enough so that it's nice and loose, so you can create a chain stitch. So now we can practice doing some chain stitches. And before you do this, if you want to practice on your own and get better at crocheting basic stitches before you do this, then this is a fun exercise to do. Like I said, you just start this off by creating the chain to put on your hook. I'm going to gather some yarn here, and I'm going to hold this knot down just so that it doesn't move around. I want to have a nice stable chain to work with, because what I'm going to want to do is yarn over and pull through that loop, and now I have a single chain made. Move it closer. You see it's just a nice single chain, and we're going to keep doing this, I don't know, a few times. Yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through the loop. Just keep doing this. This is how you practice. You can see like how tightly you're pulling on the yarn versus how tightly you're pulling onto the hook, because you want to have a nice even and consistent shaped chain link like this. And the more that you practice, the prettier it'll get, the more even your stitches will be. So just keep practicing. Make the chain as long as you want, because you can always undo it. But this is what I used to do as a kid. I would just practice this way, keep trying to make the same size chains. And even now, like sometimes it won't be that even, so I know that like, oh, I need to let up or I need to tighten. But yeah, so you can just keep doing that. So now we're going to learn the next stitch on this instruction sheet. All of these instruction animals that you get for Crafter's Square Kit, so far I have found that it's mostly single crochet, which is like a simple stitch for crocheting. So what you're going to want to do is, when you have a chain link like this, and mind you, this is just a basic learning how to crochet. This here has nothing to do with the assembly that you have to do for these animals, but this is a perfect way to teach you their basic stitches and to practice it, so it could look better. So what we're going to do here, this pretty side that you see here with all the braiding, this is called the right side, and then if you flip it over, this is going to be the wrong side because it doesn't look as pretty, but you know, beauty's the eye of the beholder, so it's up to you. But yeah, braided side is the right side and this back side here is the wrong side. So to start off a single crochet off a chain link like this, you always want to do it second chain from the hook. So what you're going to want to do for a single crochet is you want to take the hook, and I'm going to count back 2 chains from the hook, 1, 2, and instead of putting it in the front, I want to put it on the wrong side, which is the back, and it's going to be this little loop right here. So stick that hook in that back loop like that. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over again, and pull through 2. And there you have your single crochet stitch. It's nice, short, cute. I'm going to do this a couple more times for you guys again. So you'll stick your hook into the next stitch, but we're putting it on that back side, the wrong side. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over again, and pull through both loops. So now we have 2 stitches. You can see that really pretty braid forming. Okay, let's do one more. Put it through the hook. Put it through the back side loop here into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now that we have the single crochet stitch down, if you need to go back, definitely pause it here and do it, or rewind and redo it. But we're going to move on to the increasing stitch. So how we do this is very simple. What we're doing is 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So what we're going to do is into this next stitch, again on the wrong side, we're going to insert the hook. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then we're going to do this single crochet stitch again into the same stitch. So you see where you just stuck your hook in? We're going to put it back in there, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So let's do this one more time. Into the next stitch on the wrong side, stick your hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And then you're going to increase it by sticking it back into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. As you increase your stitch in a straight line, it's going to start bending. If you see it start bending and you meant to do that, that's correct. If you're doing single crochet stitches and you see it bending and you didn't mean to do that, then that means you accidentally stuck your needle into the same hook, into the same chain twice, 3 times. I've done it when I was learning. It's very easy to do if it's also like a dark color and it's hard to see the stitches. Or if you're a beginner, and what I did was I would make my stitches really tight, so it'd be hard for me to put the hook into the right stitch. But yeah, so let's do 2 regular single crochet stitches. So into the next stitch in that back, the wrong side, I'll put the hook through. Okay. Then we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. One more single crochet stitch into the next stitch, put the hook into the back side of that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now that we've straightened out and you can clearly see, I love this, like how different stitches or extra stitches make, because what was bending is now going straight. And some instructions will tell you to do this, especially if there's like a zigzag pattern. So that's also good to know. But now we're going to do the decreasing stitch. Again, pause, rewind. There is a setting feature on these YouTube videos where you can change the speed. You can speed it up, slow it down. Okay, so let's do the decreasing stitch. Now, this gets a little tricky, but once you get it, it's really easy. So we're going to stick the hook into the next stitch. Again, the wrong side, kind of like we always do. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, but we're not going to yarn over again. What we're going to do is put our hook into the next stitch over. Again, wrong side. And we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. So now we have 3, right? You see there? We're going to yarn over and draw through all 3. And that's our single crochet stitch. And it's pretty much taking up 2 stitches to make 1. So that's how they call it a decreasing stitch. Let's do this one more time. So into the next stitch on the wrong side, stick your hook in, pull up a loop. Now don't yarn over like we normally do. Go into the next stitch, stick your hook in there, wrong side, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now we can yarn over and draw through all 3 loops. So we have decreased twice. Now, if this is done right, it should start bending up. So if you increase, it should be bending down. If you decrease, it should bend up. If you see that happening, then you're definitely doing it right. So let's exaggerate this bend. Let's do one more, especially just to make sure that you got this stitch down. So again, into the next stitch, put your hook in on the wrong side, yarn over, pull up a loop. Don't yarn over yet. We're going to stick our hook into the next stitch, wrong side, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then we're going to yarn over again and draw through all 3. So now you can definitely see that it wants to start bending up. So we pretty much covered the chain stitch, the single crochet stitch, the increasing stitch, and the decreasing stitch. So before I unravel this and move on, let's just look at what the instructions say for the body parts. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to crochet legs. This will be great. It'll be just learning how to start this off. The only difference is the instructions say 6, but this one says we have to start with 8, so that's no big deal. I'll show you guys how to do that, but this is going to be very simple. It's 3 rows, and each row is going to have 8 stitches, so there's no decreasing, there's no increasing. It's going to be straight 8 stitches. So let's remove this. If you ever have a project and you want to stop and undo it, pull yourself some slack, get the needle out here, then you just have to pull. Look how easy that is. If you make a mistake, it's so quick to just undo it, right? Just have to keep track of your stitches. If you don't like a project anymore and you want to scrap it, either start all over or use the yarn for another project, just unravel the whole thing until you're out. And that's like the beauty of crocheting. I've started projects from years ago, you guys, and I still have them in my little bin. And sometimes when I'm like, you know what, I'm never gonna come back to this project, I'll just use it for something else. So there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so we are going to, before we start, you have to get a different color yarn. So I'm gonna cut off a little piece of my own yarn that I have floating around somewhere. Right here. Again, I just unraveled a project that I'll probably won't ever get back to. And we're gonna use this as a marker. We're gonna need this for later. It talks about it in here. But let's start with step 1. And what it wants you to do is wrap the yarn around your finger twice. So we get 1, 2. Now my trick, because this is a lot of wasted yarn, you guys, in the beginning that I don't really like, because as if you saw my other videos, I ran out of yarn doing the puppy. Because I was very relaxed with my stitching and very loosey-goosey about how much yarn I wasted, that I didn't have enough to finish the puppy. So I used my own yarn, which was a different color, so I made it like a patchy mutt. But anyway, so you yarn over your finger twice, and then you want to leave like the littlest excess piece possible. And then you want to be able to pinch it down with your finger. And then you want to stick your hook under each of these 3 places here. Now we're going to pull this back, but I want to grab this piece and pull it under these 2. So let's do that. Okay, now we have our little loop. You see that loop there? Now I want to yarn over, and we're going to pull that through the loop. So now we've closed this little chain that we made, and we can slip it off the finger. Be mindful of that little excess. You don't want to lose it. Okay. So we just did steps 1, 2, 3 and 4 actually. So that went by really quick. So now for step 5, it wants you to do a chain. So you just yarn over and pull a loop, and that's your 1 chain. Remember, you guys, when we started with that string of chains and we did the single crochet, it's always the 2nd chain from the hook, so that's why we added this one. We have 1 here, and then technically this is another one, because we're going to start doing our single crochet in this loop, this magic loop here. So now that was steps 5, and then from 6 through 8 we're doing our single crochet. So again, let me show you that stitch. It's very easy. Stick your hook in this ring. Just make pretend it's those little chains I showed you earlier. Gonna yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over again, and pull through 2. And we're gonna do this. So now we created 1 single crochet. There's 1 on here, you guys. Now remember that in the instructions it said we have to do 8. So we got to do 8 more of these. So you can count down with me. You can speed it up, you can slow it down. But we're going to do steps 6 through 8 7 more times. I know in the starting instructions it says 6 times, but that's just the generic. Most of these, you guys, did start with 6 on the ring. So in this case, no, because we know it's 8. So we're going to add 2 more. So now since we have 1 on here, we're just going to do 7 more into this magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over again, go through 2. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches. Let's do this again. Into the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now we have 3. Into the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2 loops. Now we have 4. Again, you guys, there's features on this YouTube so that you can slow down the video by, I believe, either 2.5 or 3 times the speed, or you can speed it up, I think 2.5 or 3 times the speed. I don't remember really, but all you have to do is in this window, I think if you tap it, you tap on the gear and you can change the speed, the play, I don't forget what it's called, playtime or something, I don't know. But anyway, let's do 4 more. Stick it through the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, let's do this 3 more times. Into the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Let's do 2 more. Into the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2 loops. 1 more. Into the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2 loops. So now, just to double check that we have 8, you want to count 8 stitches. How we do that, this lovely braiding that you see, that we saw when we did that straight row, we just have to count 8 backwards from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, just to let you guys know, you're going to think, no, you have 9. Not necessarily. You see how this is kind of messier than the others? It's because we chained 1 right here on step 5. We changed 1 before we did our single crochet. So if you are checking to see if you have the right amount of stitches, if you will, find 8 stitches, and if you have another one there that looks like 1, then that's still correct because it's the 8 plus that chain 1 that we did, if that makes sense. Comment below if it doesn't. Maybe there's another way I can explain it. So now they call this, I call this, and I think they officially call this a magic ring because you can change the size of it. You can pull it to where it's very taut, which is what these instructions want you to do. So what we're going to do is take that short piece, and I'm going to pull this a little bit. Okay, you guys, like this. Now you see how you know it's pulling this one first? Sometimes this one won't follow, it'll get stuck, and then you'll have this loop. If you've seen my other videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. But what I'm going to do is, the one that's pulling, I'm going to hold the first stitch we made and start pulling, like pulling it, the excess yarn, so that this guy can disappear. So I hope that made sense. I'm just going to keep pulling that excess part of this ring so that I can see how it's, that one that wasn't moving is now moving. It's getting closer and closer to this ring, so it is kind of making it hard for me to hold it. That's exactly what you want. So now we got somewhat of a closed ring. Now this is made to officially close, so if you can, try to pull it tighter. If you can't, that's fine. If you need to remove this for now, or I would pull out the slack a lot so you don't lose that stitch. Okay, don't trick yourself to pulling the wrong one now. Try to keep track of where you're pulling. But then, so now that we got that, you want to take the end, and we're going to pull that one in. So see how it's getting tighter and all that yarn is disappearing? That's why they call it magic, because we just totally went from a big ring to a little one. And now see that it's tight there, there's no excess, it's perfect. That might take some time to practice because I just figured that out like in the first instructions that I received. I was asked to figure it out and it took a bit. So it's, if you don't get it right away, it's fine. I didn't. So you know, and I've been crocheting for ever since I was little, so we're talking about under 40 years. So and that was a 40, not 4. All right, now that I dated myself. Okay, so the rest of the instructions are, we actually did, after we did the 6 through 8, we did also do, oh, it was 6 through 9 actually. Okay. We did 10, but we have to now do a slip stitch. They don't say it's a slip stitch, but it's pretty much a slip stitch. So what we're going to do is count again 8 stitches from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now on the 8th stitch, you want to put your hook into both loops. You know how it looked like a braid? We're going to want to put the hook into those 2 pieces that make the braid that you see here. I hope you can see that. Now we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through everything. So just yarn over and pull through everything. And we've just slip stitched this first row with 8 stitches. It looks very nice and clean. Now it's telling you on step 14, so that slip stitch is 11 through 13. Step 14 is telling you to put in the marker. So we have our marker here. You're just going to feed it through the eye hole of the needle. I totally messed that up already. Okay, like somewhat in the middle there. And then this little slip stitch we made here, I'm just going to put the needle through that stitch. And then I'm going to hold down one side and pull the other side straight through. And this is going to be your marker. So now you know where you began on your next row. And that's pretty much all it is to it. So we just did row 14. 15 is what you do at the very end when you're done making your body part. And I can show you that later. But for now, we are going to do the crochet legs, which I don't like starting out with small pieces because it's going to be hard to show you guys in the beginning how to do this when the piece is so small, but hopefully we'll be able to get through it, and then you can pick up the other body parts just as easy, if not easier. So before we start a single crochet, you always have to do a chain like that. And this single chain, like I said, when you count your stitches, one's gonna look like kind of a stitch, but it's not really. It's just the chain that we did. Yeah, this single chain that we just made is just to get up there, because these are rings, right? It's not a spiral. It's not going to be a continuous loop. It's going to be separate rings. 1, 2, 3. And in order to have separate rings, you have to build it up. So we have to chain 1, and that's just the rule of the game when you crochet. If you get a crochet book and it teaches you basic stitches, if you're doing a row of single crochet, they're going to tell you you have to chain 1 before you start doing your single crochet stitches. Also, something that I'm going to teach you guys, we have all this excess left. We aren't going to be using it. It's just going to be in the way. So I'm going to try to crochet it into the rings so that it's hidden, and I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to start our single crochet stitch. You don't want to, you're looking for the first stitch over. It's not going to be this one where our marker is, because that's where we are going to end up And it's not going to be this little one next to it because that's the one that we use to slip stitch, right? And you have to remember that because this is going to be confusing, especially if you're a beginner. This one with the marker, not the one that we're doing. This one that's kind of like really next to it, that's not the one either, because that's the one that we did the slip stitch with. It's going to be the next one out here on its own. It might look like a huge gap, but it really won't be. So let's stick our hook into the front and back loops, and that's what they call it, the front and back loops of the stitch. And that excess piece, I'm just going to lay down next to it. And this is if you just want to tuck it away. If you have this thing flapping around, it gets annoying. So I'm going to crochet it into this circle. Just lay it down right next to them. Then you're going to yarn over. And you're going to pull up a loop. And then we're going to yarn over again and pull up another loop. So now we have our first single crochet. So this is going to be easy, you guys, because we're doing 8 stitches each row. It's easy because it's easy to remember. It's a small piece, so this isn't going to be easy. And unfortunately, as you can see, I got my nails on. So this might be more difficult for me than it has been in the other videos. So I'm going to speak out maybe a couple of these, and then I'm just going to count the rest of the way. So we have one down. Let's do another one. Stick your hook into the next stitch, front and back loops. Lay down the excess piece right next to it. Yarn over, pull a loop up. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. One more time. Stick your hook into the next stitch, front and back loops. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we should have 4 or 3. Yeah, we should have 3. We're gonna do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 more. So this time, you guys, I'm just going to count down since I showed you how to start this off. So, and you'll have to do that too. After a while, you're going to memorize how to do this stuff. And then it's just all about counting the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then where you have that marker, you know that's your last one. Put it in there. This is going to be your 5th one, making a total of 8. Once it's in that stitch, you can remove the marker because that'll get in your way. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. So now we've completed our 8 stitches. 2 things you're gonna one thing you're gonna want to remember, you want to keep the pretty side out. So you know it's going to be an arm, so you know it's going to be like becoming a tube. So just make sure that the pretty side, the right side, is pointing out and the wrong side is getting pulled in. Okay, so now we're going to count back 8 stitches and we're going to do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, like I said, you're going to think, no, you've got 9 here. This one, if you don't remember, is that chain, that single chain we did. So the 8th one would be right here. And if you, it should look like that the whole way up. It should look like it, you have an extra stitch in the middle. That's just the chain up. It gets a little weird like that, but you know, that's just what it is. So hopefully that all makes sense for you guys. But I'm gonna slip stitch this now. Okay, And then like we did before, I'm going to take my marker and we're going to mark off the last stitch that we made. And that part, you guys, is going to be the part where you forget to do, but you have to do. I have to do it for me because even though I'm experienced, I will lose the spot that it should be, and I don't want that. So stick that needle into that last stitch, hold one end and pull the other end through, and then we can move on to the next row. So we did rows 1, 2, and lo and behold, it's only 3, so we get to do row 3 now, which means this was a very quick learn. So you guys can jump off of here if you get it. It's the same thing every other part. It's going to show you to increase and decrease. So or you can stick around because I'm going to be doing the rest. I'm not too sure where I'm going to break in the videos because my phone only allows me to record and edit like a certain amount of time. So I'll split up the videos for you guys. But yeah, so like we do again for every row doing single crochet, you have to yarn over and pull up a chain, and then you can start your single crochet. Again, it's not going to be the one with the marker. It's not going to be the one it's going to end up looking like half a one or one that's being pulled. That's not it. Is because we did a slip stitch on that one. It's going to be the next one over. And we're going to do 8 of these, you guys. And you guys, since I showed you how to do it in the other rows, you can either just rewind, but I'm just going to count off. So we did 1. I'm going to stick the needle again here into the next stitch. Remember, I still have this excess piece, so I'm going to go in alongside the stitch here, and I'm going to crochet it in there so I can hide it. We have 2. I'm going to do this 6 more times. 3. 4. Again, the small pieces are a nightmare. They're always going to be a nightmare unless you have super small hands. Okay, I already lost count, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have 4 left. 5, 6, 7, 8. Pull out the marker. 9. So we have 8, and we're going to slip stitch this. So count back 8 stitches from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, these small pieces are a headache sometimes, but luckily there's only a few of those pieces, so you won't be having a headache for long. Okay, and I guess it's good we're doing a small piece because now I can show you step 15. Step 15 was that last one we didn't do. So this one's fairly easy. Now for me, they tell you to sew these pieces. You could do that. I like to crochet in a way, so I'm going to need some excess, and I want it to be enough to go around and then some, you know. So I'm just going to cut this piece off here. A second. So I'm just going to cut off this piece here. Okay. And then row 15 pretty much wants you to, I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to draw through the loop. I'm going to pull it all the way out and we're going to tighten it up. And we've completed our leg. I think this is the leg. Yep, we've completed our leg. Now you guys, I did go ahead off camera and I did do a leg already, and I actually did this when I didn't have these nails. So this one actually is tighter stitching, and that's the other reason too, when you practice, because you have to make 2 legs obviously, and 2 ears, 2 arms, you want to make it uniform. This isn't uniform. This with these nails, as crazy as it is, this is bigger because I wasn't able to do nice tight stitching, and I did this before these nails went on, so this is tight stitching, so it's smaller. But you know, these are toys, you know, and it doesn't really need to be super perfect. No one's gonna be sitting there and really like looking at this thing. Anytime I make anything, they're just thinking it's amazing that I can even do anything like that just because they can't. So don't harp too much about it. If you see a little flaw, you know, here the excess yarn is still sticking. I'm going to try to tuck that in, but if you have stuff like that happening, you know, don't fret about it. There's always ways to hide it, or it's really not going to be noticeable. So now I'm going to be crocheting the body. You guys can pause it here and rewind it, do the other leg. But since I've already done that, I'm going to move on to do the crochet body. And oh Nelly. Yeah, maybe this is one of those things where I should have looked ahead. Oh my goodness. Huh. This is interesting. So normally when you start a ring, the next body part, you start a separate ring. But this is row 4. Oh no. Oh. Which means we have to build on top of an existing leg. Oh, I don't like these instructions, you guys. I looked ahead, but not ahead enough, apparently. Because row 4 means I need to pick up where I left off. How in the world? And some of the instructions have been fairly good. Some of them say continue on to the body, and this one did not at all. Oh my goodness. Crochet the 2 legs and join by following step 1. Oh guys, I'm definitely learning as I go along with you, and I'm just annoyed. Okay, so we have to crochet these 2 puppies together, which I'm not happy about because I just wasted all this. I could have not needed to do that. But actually now I need a saving grace right now, because I'm gonna undo this, and that's not how I taught you. So it's like, hopefully when you do the second leg, don't cut this off. Don't close it yet. I'm gonna make pretend that we made our second leg. So do this leg, the first one we just did, the way that we did. We cut it off and closed it. The second leg though, don't close it off. So good thing that I only showed the first leg, because I know you got to do another one. But see now, I'm going to stick this needle back in here as if nothing ever happened. We're still good. It's like we're going to do the 4th row. Okay. But what I need to do for myself, and hopefully you catch yourself before doing the 2nd leg. Otherwise, you'll have to do what I'm doing now. I'm going to fuse these 2 together. And how we fuse it is we just tie a knot. There are many ways to tie this knot. I usually do this, but I find that this usually comes apart if I'm working too tightly. So hopefully it doesn't. But let's see what happens. Okay. Yeah, sometimes this is one of the flaws of these kits, because when you get a DIY crochet kit and it's tiny, you have this implication that it's very beginner friendly. And the problem with this is, you know, me being experienced enough to where I'm confident I can do this, I even stumble along the way because the instructions are so choppy and not totally explained for a beginner. So if you guys are feeling like you can't do this, I mean, don't be discouraged. I am feeling the same way. No, I can feel how someone would feel that way. But like I said, crocheting is very forgiving. There have been books that I buy to make things, and I'd get stuck on a project, and I'll leave it alone. And who knows, days, weeks, months, years later, I'll pop back in and say, hey, let me try finishing it. And I don't know, maybe at that time, either I was inexperienced and then I did other projects and I gained experience, or maybe at that time I was distracted and I didn't know, but I ended up like looking the instructions over, and then I pick it up and it's like, oh, okay, I got this now. So it's telling me down in step 6 to crochet the 2 legs and join by following step 1. And it doesn't really tell you. So, but I know that this row 3 is going to turn into a row 4. And I know that I'm going to need 18 stitches. This is horrible. It doesn't even tell you how it went from 8 to 16. But, plus 2. But if you can see here, and I was hoping that I would show you this later when I did the actual body, but it seems like it's connecting. Where's my needle? Oh my gosh, did I lose my needle now? I totally lost my needle. Okay, no worries, I have another needle. Because I have multiple kits. So hopefully you don't lose your needle. Look, I even have the yarn from another one. Okay. Wow, that was nuts. Alright. It's my pointer. So after row 3, we're going to be moving on to row 4. And these instructions are so lovely. These tiny X's are the single crochet stitch symbols. But there's increasing symbols, because we have this X with a caret. Oops, X with a caret. There are super, super tiny. I'm going to try to close up, close up, close up. And it's starting off with an increasing stitch. Ay, ay, ay. It's increasing, and then it's doing 1. Oh my gosh, this is so tiny even for me. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're increasing the first stitch and increasing on the 8th stitch. And I stand corrected. We know where the 8 came from, the 16 came from, because we have 8 here and we have 8 here. And we have to crochet an entire ring around this. I've done it for the mouse, I believe. So that instruction made a little more sense, because I think that did say continue on to the body. So, oh guys, let's just pray here. Okay, so we're gonna do our chain 1 like we normally do, and then we're gonna start our single crochet. So I say, because we have 2, I think on the 4th stitch we have to move on to this leg, so that we kind of make it even Steven, right? I hope that made sense. But yeah, so let's put our hook into, oh, and I need a marker. Marker, you guys. It's thrown off by that whole next step. But yeah, so that we know where this sucker ends, we're going to want to put the needle onto that last stitch that we had, that we did the slip stitch for the leg. Pull it all the way through. Alright, now we can move on. Okay. So, into the first stitch, we are going to do an increasing stitch. So we have 1, 2, okay. Then we're going to do 3 more. One, 2, 3. Okay, and like I said, once we use up 4 stitches, we know we're going to make a ring around to make this leg. So let's attach on this other leg, and I'm just going to start where I had this slip stitch, and we're going to do that increasing stitch at the same time. No, we're not. We're going to do a single crochet stitch. We have to do 8 on the 8th one. We increase, so we did 3. I mean, now I'm sounding confusing. The first stitch we did an increasing stitch, so that's 2. Then we did 3 more before we moved on to this next leg, so we have 5. So we have to do 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So then on the next one, we're going to do the increasing stitch. One, and into the same stitch, 2. Okay, so we did 2 in the first stitch, 3 before we moved on, so that's 5. We have 3, so it's a total of 8, and then the next one we did the increasing stitch is 9, 10. Okay, so now we just have 8 more to go, and we know that we have 8 stitches because that's how many left we have on these little legs. So I hope this is all making sense. It's just really, like I said, this isn't really the best instruction you can get from these guys, period, let alone the general books I've seen. But we're gonna work through this. So we have to do 8 more stitches. 1, 2, and be careful, the way I'm holding it, I am flattening these legs. Just be careful you don't go through to the other side. You want to be able to open it up and see that little tube inside. You don't want to accidentally crochet all the way through. Okay, 7 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh, and this is where it gets crazy. Okay, we have 1 here. Then we have to do 4 more. Oh, and I'm just tucking this excess piece like I've been doing with the legs, because had I known, I wouldn't have cut off too much excess. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remove the marker. So we now have a theoretical ring around these 2 legs, and we're going to count back 18 and do a slip stitch. So hopefully I have 18 on here. If not, I'll have to figure it out. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I did it right. Shocker. Oh my goodness. Alright. Slip stitch this. Okay, then I'm going to take the marker and mark off the last stitch. That was insane, you guys. Put this through the last stitch here. Okay. Then we can move on to row 5, and it looks like we have our 18 stitches plus 2, which means we are going to need 20 stitches. And then let me just show you where it's going to increase so you know in advance. So we have row 5, 18 stitches plus 2. Then we have row 5. She's so tiny, I'm trying to get a close-up. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, increase on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Increase in 9, and then we have 4 left. Okay, so we increase in 5 and increase at 9. Okay, so again, chain 1 like you always do, and then we're going to start our single crochet into the next stitch. And I still have that excess, you guys, so I'm going to try to tuck that in here. But we're going to do 5 and then increase. 1, 2, 3. I hate these markers, they get in the way. They're very helpful, but they get in the way. 4, 5, and then we're going to increase. So 5, put it in the same stitch and single crochet. So now we have 6. Now we're going to count 9 and then increase on 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we're going to increase in that same stitch. So that's 10. So now we should have 16. We have 4 more left. Whew. Okay. 1, 2. Ooh, I finally finished that excess piece. 3. And then 4. Pull out the marker. So we should now have 20. Oh, okay. It's coming along, you guys. You could still tell that this one's bigger than that one, but that's okay. Count back 20, we're going to do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. do the slip stitch. Okay, then we're going to mark it off. So we'll be able to move on to row 6 through 8, and I'm seeing it, and it's 20 stitches, so that's easy. It's the same number of stitches that we just left off with, and we just got to do that for 3 rows. So we're gonna insert this needle into that last stitch, hold one end through, pull the other one through. Okay. And now we're going to do 6 through 8. And the biggest part here is trying not to lose count where you're at. So hopefully I don't do that. Okay. So let's do 6 through 8, 20 stitches. First we've got to do our single chain. Chain 1, so yarn over, chain 1. Now we can start 20. So I'm just going to count off 20, you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops, lost it. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Remove the marker. Okay, row 6 is done. Let's count back 20 and do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, and then I'm going to take the marker, put this through the last stitch we did. Row 6 done. Now we just have to do this 2 more times for 7 and 8. and we're gonna do 20 again, you guys. I chained one, so let's do 20 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 'kay. I'm going to mark it off. Yikes. Okay, so now we have row 8 done. We're gonna do, row 7 done. We're gonna do row 8. Okay. So we're gonna chain 1, and we're gonna do 20 one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Well, I must have 20. Okay. Count back 20. We're going to do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I lost count, so I'm going to have to do that again. Ay, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. Okay. Alright, so row 8 is done. We're going to mark it off. Then we're going to work on row 9, and it says 20 minus 2 stitches. So let's find out where they want us to decrease. We have row 9, 20 minus 2 stitches. Row 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decrease, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 decrease, so it's 5 and 9. Oh, and then I can mark this off. Okay, so 5 and 9. We're going to chain 1, and I'm going to show you guys how to do this then, because it's our first decrease of this project. So we're going to do 5, well let's do 4, because we're going to decrease at 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to show you guys how to decrease. Refresher course from a few minutes ago. A lot of minutes ago. Okay. So stick your needle into the next stitch, front and back loops, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now we're not going to yarn over like we normally do. We're going to stick our hook into the next stitch over, front and back loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and draw through all 3. So we have 5 stitches, and we just did a decreasing stitch. Can you see that? It's like it's so subtle you can't tell, but we just did that. So now we're going to do 9 more stitches, and then on the 9th one we're going to decrease. So let's do 8 first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then for the 9, we're going to do a decreasing stitch. I'll show it you again so that in the future you can do these. Into the next stitch, put your hook in, front and back loops, yarn over. Don't yarn over yet. We're going to stick our hook back into the next stitch over, front back loops, yarn over, pull up a loop. And we're going to yarn over and draw through all 3. So now that's 9 stitches on top of the 5 we did. We have 16, and we need 2 more stitches left to make our 18 stitches for row 9. So we're doing the 1, and then we're doing 2, oh wait, no. Y'all caught that right. Alright, so we did 5 before, 9, that's 14, and we need to end up with 18. We need to do 4 more. I'm going insane. Yeah, it is getting late over here, you guys, so I'm actually not sure when I'm going to cut this off, but I'm going to cut it off soon, so let's do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I was wondering why I had extra stitches. I was just gonna stitch right over it. Thought maybe I was like half asleep, but see, that's the good thing about keeping your marker and keeping your count and doing the right count. I totally added wrong. So we should have 18 stitches. Let's count that back and do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, we'll put this through here. And we'll do our slip stitch. I'm going to take my marker and we're going to mark this off. Okay. So you guys, I'm going to try to do rows 10 through 13 in this video. It is already getting long, and I know my editing is going to crash if it's any longer. So I'm going to try to get through 10 to 13. If I end up cutting this before and you hear me saying this in the next part too, please disregard. Yeah, I'm just figuring out these long videos. I've never really posted long ones except for this crocheting stuff, and I've had to chop it up. So we're gonna do row 10, but I need to pause to feed my cat. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. We're gonna do row 10, and we have to do 18, which is pretty simple because that's how many stitches we currently have. So it's just a matter of doing single crochet stitches. So now I'm going to chain 1 and we're going to do 18 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Remove the marker. Okay. So now we're just going to count back 18 and do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so now we have row 11 and we have 18 stitches and we're subtracting 3. So let's find out where they want us to decrease our stitching. So row 11, 18 minus 3. Row 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, decrease. So after 5 stitches, we decrease. Just making sure I'm loaded up. I do that a lot. You don't have to put this much on here. So after every 5 we're going to decrease. Chain 1, and now we're going to do 4 single crochet stitches, and on the 5th one we're going to decrease. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, then we're going to do the decreasing stitch, okay, then another 4 single crochet stitches, and on the 5th one we're going to do a decreasing stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5 decreasing stitch, and then we're going to do our last set of 5, and on the 5th one we're going to do a decreasing stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5 decrease, move the marker, so counting back we should have 15 stitches, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. So now we're going to mark this up. Then we're going to move on to row 12, and we're going to be decreasing again, so let's walk through this. Row 12, oops, row 12, 15 stitches minus 3, so we'll have 12 stitches left. Let's go to row 12 and see where it has us decreasing. 1, 2, 3, 4 decrease, 1, 2, 3, 4 decrease, 1, 2, 3, 4 decrease. So after 4. Okay. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches, and on the 4th one we're going to decrease. This is where it gets crazy when it's getting smaller. Okay, so let's see here. 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th one we decrease. 1, 2, then we're going to do another 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do another decrease. Then we're going to do our last 3 with a decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease. 1, 2, remove the marker. So now we're going to count back to 12 and do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we're going to mark it. And then we have row 13, and we have 12, but we're minusing 6. So every stitch we're going to do the decreasing stitch, and then you guys, after this we don't cut it off because on the next crochet head we start with row 14, so we know this is going to continue on to 14. You guys can move ahead and finish this, but I'm going to have to stop here because the length of the video might be too much for my editor, unfortunately. But that way I can get a break from crocheting this because it is getting late. But let's walk through doing this last row here. We're going to yarn over, pull up a chain, and then, like I said, every stitch we're going to do a decreasing stitch. So don't forget that. So let's start into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up, into the next stitch. Oh, make sure you don't go through the other side. Okay. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 3. I'm going to do this again. Into the next stitch, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3, again, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3, and then I believe one last time, into the next stitch. Oh, 2 more times. These markers, man. Into the next stitch, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 3. Now it's one last time, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, pull out the marker, pull up a loop, and draw through all 3. So now I should have 6. I'm going to count back, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it does get tiny, you guys, so you just gotta really, I don't know, get a magnifying glass. Slip stitch. And then we're gonna mark this off because we have to do essentially the 14th row in the next step, which is the crocheted head. But again, I am going to stop here, you guys. I'm gonna continue the next video in part 2. But then I think I'll be able to do the head, the arms, and the ears. And then for part 3, we're going to do the assembly. So hopefully you guys get to stick with me. Again, this is a viewer request. If you have any requests, I'll try. Let me know where you got your kit or whatever it is. And I'll try looking it up so that I can get it and do this for you guys. But I started out trying to help a friend and wasn't really into doing crochet on my channel. I didn't know how it would take, but it seems like you guys like it, so I'm going to continue with it. And I actually have grown to like this, even though the instructions are insane. This is how much yarn we have yet left. I hope we have enough to complete the rest of the body. But thank you so much, you guys, for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos. And again, join me. I'm going to be doing part 2 where I complete steps 3 through 5, and then part 3 where I do the assembly. At least that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. But I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.